Hello! In this final video of Unit 2, we'll talk about completing your resume. There are still some things you will need to do to make your resume the best resume you can write. One of these things has to do with presentation. In other words, how your resume looks. Is it easy to read? Does it look good? Does it follow standard resume rules? The next thing we'll discuss is proofreading and editing your resume. This means reading back over your resume after you have written it and making sure it doesn't have any mistakes. Finally, we'll talk briefly about the two most popular types of resumes, functional and chronological. After this video, we hope you will feel confident and ready to research and write your own resume. The assessment that follows this video will ask you to write your own resume and to read someone else's resume. To begin then, let's look at presentation. When an employer reads your resume, you want to be sure you make a great first impression. You can achieve this not only by having the skills, qualifications, and experience, but also making sure your resume looks professionally written and is easy to read. As we've said before, you don't want to give an employer an excuse to throw your resume in the recycling can. After all, an employer will probably read many other resumes before getting to yours. So if it doesn't follow what we call standard formatting, it will not make a good first impression. Some examples of standard formatting include using a standard font, for example, Times New Roman, using bullet points, using lots of white space to make the resume easier to read, using bold text and indents to give more importance to information and show relationships between information. If we look in this good example of a resume, we can see each of these things. Beth Smith uses only two fonts, Calibri and Arial. Bullet points to summarize her skills and work experience, lots of white space, and she uses bold text and indents. The next thing you need to do after you finish writing your resume is to read through it a few times or get someone else to read through it after you. You should read the resume looking for mistakes in grammar, spelling, punctuation, and capitalization. If you are unsure of the rules for each of these things, ask someone who's an expert or read a reliable book or website that explains the rules correctly. Make any necessary changes so that your resume is free of any mistakes. Nowadays, most employers ask you to send your resume by email or upload it to a job website. But if you're planning on sending the resume through the mail, be sure that you use a good quality paper. In the United States, you can buy cotton paper that is more expensive than regular printer paper, but it makes all the difference. A better quality paper will make your resume stand out from the crowd. Lastly, you should think about which type of resume you should use. There are two common types of resume used nowadays, functional and chronological. Chronological is the one most commonly used. It lists your work experience and qualifications in chronological order, starting with the most recent first. It is the one most people use when writing a resume. On the other hand, a functional resume puts more emphasis on your abilities and less on your work experience. If you have just graduated from high school or college and don't have a lot of work experience, you probably want to emphasize your education and qualifications and not your work experience. Or Maybe you are just returning to the workforce after being away for an extended period of time. For example, because of illness or having a child. A functional resume may be a better fit for you in this case. We will examine functional and chronological resumes in more detail in the additional resources at the end of the unit. For the moment, we hope you've learned in this video the importance of good presentation, proofreading and editing your finished resume, and the basic differences between functional and chronological resumes. It's now time you put the finishing touches on your own resume. Be sure to carefully and thoroughly research the job you're applying to, and try to remember all the things we discussed in this unit. Good luck! Next, in Assessment 2, we're going to ask you to submit your resume, and another student in this course will read and review your work. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.